New Mexico CannaCast. Everything New Mexico, everything cannabis.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 15 of the New Mexico CannaCast. Everything New Mexico, everything cannabis. My name is Shannon Jaramillo, and I'm one of your three co-hosts today. We're going to be talking about the aftermath after recreational. So let's get it going. And today on our show, we're going to discuss several topics that will give you guys some information and insight into the industry. And it'll be me, Chad, and Josh, and I'll pass it over to you, Chad.
Cool. Thank you, Shannon. I appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. I am Chad, one of your co-hosts. And as Shannon said, I won't keep you too long. Thank you for joining us. And as you said, this is the aftermath show. So Josh, go ahead.
Hey, how's it going? I'm your garden gnome. That's what I'm going through now. Yep, garden gnome. All good things, guys. As you've seen, we had a little finesse on the CannaCast right off the bat. Shannon finessed it out for us, Yeah, good stuff already. So I'm excited about this episode because I was completely wrong. I admit it right off the bat. I know there's a lot of women out there who be like, he said he was wrong. Holy hell.
I was wrong as well.
I was way wrong. Yeah, so anyways,
me too.
Yeah, we have not ran out of cannabis yet as of recording. So
yeah, we'll talk more about that as the episode continues. So let's get right into it. Let's start at the beginning. So as most of us know, on 4/1 or April 1st, adult sales for medical cannabis became legal, and so most shops opened up around the state other than Roswell for adult sales.
Well, but 2 minutes before it turned rec, it was medical cannabis.
Yeah, that's true. 2 minutes before, yeah, that's right. Because I guess our Greenleaf officially opened up at, was it 12:01?
It was a party.
Yeah, it was great. So Josh and I were up there. Unfortunately, Shannon was up north, so she missed this party down here because in Las Cruces they haven't set any times yet for the city, so you can do whatever you want when it comes to time. So our Greenleaf and a couple other dispensaries in town decided to open up at midnight.
I don't know if they didn't set times or they're just smarter than everybody else about capitalism.
Yeah,
they're like, we like to make money 24 hours a day. How about
y'all?
You like making money 24 hours a day?
Do you like passive income? Of course I do.
Right. Do you help children 24 hours a day?
I would love that.
Tax revenue. Sure do now. Anyway, sorry.
So definitely a great way to get people in line at your door at midnight for sure.
Shannon, it was ridiculous. So the front of the store isn't it like a little mini mall area, and the line went out of it all the way to the end of the property, wrapped around all the way to the back of the building to where the front of the line started, but in the back side of the building. And there was like over 200, almost 300 people like in line. It was ridiculous.
Sounds like we played into exactly the scene that everybody was envisioning.
It really was, to be honest.
Yeah.
Dude, the Dirty South came and represented.
Yeah,
we did it right. We had a good time. Yeah, green lights, people, the balloons,
food truck.
Hey, guess what? There was no drunken fights. There was no other crazy. The whole sky didn't fall down when it went down. So it was actually, everybody was super excited. Great time. We met the first rec customer. We got to take a picture with him, Jeremy Sandoval.
Nice.
If you watch this, buddy, reach out to us because we want to do an interview with you.
Yeah, man. I got to talk to him very briefly for the clubhouse. So I interviewed him for maybe 15 seconds. I knew everybody in the mall wanted to interview him. So, because pretty much every news station that you can think of was there. So there was a bunch of, reporters or one of them that I actually really knew. And so I talked to her, and, she was really excited, and, they're really open. They allowed them inside, everybody's recording all the news stations. And so it was really cool. Just a big party. It had a DJ there, everybody was in line cheering. Yeah. And when they did the countdown, like 2 minutes, hear everybody go, woo. And then the 10, 9, whatever. And it was crazy, but in a good way,
Very cool. Very cool. I was at an R Greenleaf that next day, midday, I guess on the 1st, and they had a little line as well outside. And so experience was pretty interesting. I was in line with a group of people, which by the way, my cousin works at that R Greenleaf. I was randomly because, I'm related to half the state. And Sean Apodaca, if you're listening, you're the one I'm talking about. Anyway, and the gentleman behind me expressed to me that he was one of the first 100 medical patients. And he seemed pretty confused. Everybody was really excited, kind of in front of me. I could see some noobs in there that were like, oh, this is cool. And the bud tenders were having lengthy conversations, explaining stuff. But the line, was pretty long. The guy behind me was kind of like, he was kind of trying to holler off to the guys in the front, hey, is there a separate line for patients? And are there any incentives? And what are all these prices? And he looked so confused because the atmosphere had changed for him. And so I was empathizing with the guy, and I was thinking about it because we were all in one line, what that was feeling like to the patients, right? So I just want to mention that because as a patient, that's important. I've also gone into a couple of other establishments, and right off the bat, they assume I'm an adult user, but I've been there as a patient for the past like 7 years, right? And so right off the bat, I have to identify myself as a patient. So I do recommend that if you are a patient, you identify yourself right off the bat, because they're assuming everybody in that line is adult use, unfortunately. There are some that are more patient-centric than others, but that was my experience here in Albuquerque.
I wonder, because, devil's advocate on the side of businesses, what the percentage of patients to recreational use, customers are.
Yeah, I'd like
you know
to
what I mean?
too.
Like, because if you're in there and 90% of them are rec customers, I can see why you assume, you know what I mean, as a thing.
Well, I think 70% of the sales were non-rec. I mean, rec.
Well, yeah. So once we get the numbers hardcore, I'd be very interested to see exactly what numbers are which.
At the time of recording, we're talking right now. We're actually recording this a couple of days before we release, but everything that we're going to be talking about, just a disclaimer, is at the time of recording. So if we give you numbers, it's, they may change, and I'll update them in the description.
Oh, that will change. And yeah. So you know what I mean? They're changing right now as we speak. There's a sale. What time is it? Oh, there's a sale right now. It's 10:39 a.m. There's a sale going on. It just changed. So. Yep. And I get it with the patients, and that's something maybe we can help with the industry is self-policing is, maybe have an area where it is patient registered, right?
Yeah, I felt like they had, 6 open registers. Let's say, I'm just making up the number. You could make one at least for patients and kind of separate that line out and just give them just a little bit of that, right? Even if their line's long, that's fine. But I just feel the need to say that is a thing. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, he was even saying in Colorado, they have it separate, because homeboy had been to Colorado, obviously. So, these people aren't stupid. They know, and they'll tell them what they want. And I'm sure things will adjust as they learn more and learn how to ID customers. Right now, that's a thing. I'm teaching a class on that. In fact, how to ID them, what their limits are, all that good stuff. I think they're just adjusting. Their bud tenders and everybody, they're adjusting. And as they adjust, it'll iron out.
Yeah, I agree. And, there's an adjustment for the consumer too, medical and rec, that there's an adjustment period that we're all going through. Everybody's a little bit in shock of the changes, of the fact that, some of these businesses didn't think ahead of time that, oh crap, maybe I should have separated the patients and the rec, users, maybe I should have, because I actually heard a couple reports in town that, yeah, there's a couple of places that if you are a patient, you go to the head of the line and they deal with you first, which, I'm like, that's actually really cool.
They must have gone to Nevada.
Exactly, because that's where I heard the first time I heard
that's where that happens.
Yeah, that's where that
Nevada.
comes from. Like Nevada, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to look at a state that treats their patients differently than their rec people, Nevada would be it. Like they find out you're a medical patient, they're like, "Oh, you see the red carpet? Walk right up there." Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got you. So that might be something, some business owners, new business owners and stuff. And that's another thing. There's a lot of people in the business that never even owned a business in this industry now.
Yeah.
So, we take a lot of things, you know what I mean? Like when we talk together, we take a lot of things for granted because of our experiences in customer services and stuff like that. A lot of people don't have that at all, and then seeing the industry change, like people coming over to the industry, I see a lot of closet growers working on the way to trying to make it to scale. And that scares me, but, that's their thing. That's all I got for them. But yeah, so same thing, in customer service, right? It's at scale now. Instead of having 10 customers, you're looking at 110 for the day.
Right.
So you're going to get a lot more practice. You're going to mess up a lot more, but anytime you mess up, make sure you fix those issues and then you'll be great in 90 days because you've done more business in 90 days than you did a year ago in a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it makes sense to me that, our Greenleaf knew how to throw the party because their MSO, their Schwaz folks are from out of state. So they already know how to roll in rec. They've already been there, done that. Right. So notice that some of our larger dispensaries weren't that, throwing the party. It was more, the company that really has the out-of-staters and this new help on deck. So anyway, I thought that was interesting, but overall, I think it's positive. I mean, I want to know how much excise tax we've created. I want to know, I want to know all the numbers broken down in the data and all that good stuff. And I did hear about some of that stuff, about how many sales we had over the last 3 days. And then I heard about how many transactions. You want me to tell you?
Dude, come on. Give me some good news.
Let's go right down on the sales. Heck yeah.
Right. Well, the CCD reported to the chamber, the cannabis chamber, essentially, that they had 5.2 million in sales in the first 3 days. So April 1st through April 3rd, and close to 87,000 transactions. That's medical and adult use combined. And again, like Chad says, that's right now. We don't know what's going to happen today or tomorrow, right? So
yeah. And once the time we release this video, I mean, who knows what the numbers are going to be. There could be an influx, there could be, a stabilization. I don't know. So we'll see. I'll make sure to update that in the description and everything. So do you guys think that, the numbers are just going to keep kind of increasing, or do you think it's just going to kind of steadily decreasing, or, what do you think?
I think they'll increase in certain areas. I know the Hobbs area was hit hard. And I mean hit hard, like I think it was probably the most underestimated area in the state. Cool. From the numbers I've heard from that got reported out there from people, you know what I mean, just people know and stuff. They were cranking. And then Sunland Park, there's two places open, and lines jacked up the entire time. And even O'Dookie with Ultra Health had like 10 registers and was running people through pretty quick. Still. Tons and tons, and hats off to you, Duke, for be prepared on that end to have like 10 registers to run people through. I get it. Good for you. Yeah. And then the R Greenleaf thing, the party, that was very interesting. Like how you said, They brought it in, they found an opportunity and made it a great thing, right? They got to be the first sell in Rec in New Mexico. So maybe go buy stock.
Maybe, yeah. You can buy that stock somewhere.
Wouldn't you guys like to see who contributed to which portion of that 5.2 mil? Like you said, how much of Hobbs, how much of that group, how much of Ultra Health did this, how much, Verdes, how much did they do? All these big ones, Minerva, Everest, where do they stand within the, the bottom line there? I'm interested in that. I'm also interested in their expansions for the obvious reasons, because we have a lot of people looking for work right now, and we have a lot of people that are working in great roles all over the state that we can recruit over to this industry, because that's what I can see happening. And so when you say 10 registers, that tells me that they had to have either 10 full-time people or 20 part-timers on those 10 registers, right? And so I'm thinking about all this because it's actualizing some of the promises that our governor made. It's actualizing some of these promises. We still have a lot of work to do. I don't want to say that. I'm not naive. And a lot of people think that I am, but I'm really not. The reality of it is we have so much work to do, but I do want to know where that excise tax is going to go. You know what I'm saying? And who's going to benefit from that, essentially. So I'll be following it, and I'll let you guys know what I find out.
Oh, no. Yeah, no. And that brings me up to a point. I wonder, I bet it's been crazy in your world, for your neck of the woods, with everything going on. So, because after April 1st, everybody's attitude changes. Like, there's no way it can't, because now it's legal. Now we're talking about $5.2 million in just a few days. We're talking 10 registers. We're talking different people standing in line. Like, that changes the entire game, right? Mm-hmm. We're talking about how we need maybe registers for a patient. So we still need we need to train people in the medical world to be patient centric also, or at least have that background, not to lose it. So yeah, I bet your email's stacked on both ends.
I'm having fun now, but yeah, definitely a lot of great things happening. And I do think, like when you asked, are sales going to go up? I think they're going to go up for the next month, especially because we're in the 420 month.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that kind of softens it for them. It kind of gives them that easy gateway for sales to go up, because everybody's celebrating this month. People are celebrating 420 as of right now. You know what I mean? So, and then around that week, I bet you they're going to burst at the seams. Yeah. I'll put some kind of I bet we triple or quadruple what we did in these past 3 days just on 420. I'm going to say 15 million in sales on 420, if not 20.
Because I agree, because we might see some sales happen, at certain dispensaries. They might go $5 cheaper.
What do you mean? Like go $10 up? Sales. Yeah. This guy. Oh, we're going rec. And everybody, if you didn't think the price would go up when we go rec, Sorry, that's all I got.
Yeah. So we could talk about that if you want to, and the fact, or do you want to talk about how you were wrong? Well, I was wrong too, but how Josh was really wrong.
Just out ourselves on that so that people can follow the bet.
Yeah. So I said 6 hours, and we're on day 3 or 4 right now.
Day 3,
day 3, day 4. Well, however you want to throw it down, we're running into it. We still have cannabis. I didn't hear of anybody running out of cannabis totally. I heard of pre-rolls and some other things, which we ain't gonna count that.
Yeah, like
that
certain
happens.
Products,
right? Which we all knew, you know, inventory ratios and stuff. So, way to go, New Mexico! Way to go, and not running out. And then,
way to prove us wrong.
Yeah. Prices, fantastic. Everybody's gonna complain about prices. It's a recreational market, and welcome to the show. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, but there's one person who isn't wrong yet, and that's actually Shannon.
That's right, mofos.
Shannon's got 2 more today, or what? Today and tomorrow, right?
Yeah, today and tomorrow.
But what's gonna push my probability? What's gonna make what may cause me to be wrong is the fact that we're talking about those who open their doors April 1st. Did they run out, right? Yeah. We're not talking about the entire grouping of retail storefronts, which I happen to know, and I'm sure you do too, and if you don't, you will, that there are some people sitting on stashes right now waiting to open their doors this month sometime because they weren't ready yet, right? So we're not going to run out because we're going to have this little offset of, not that we're not going to run out, we're going to go to slim pickings here by the end of the month. That's my prediction. But I don't know if I said 5 days, guys, by the way. I said 5 days. So if I win, it would be that we run out tomorrow or at the end of the day tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
By Wednesday morning, essentially.
Yeah.
The reality is then somebody else will open and they'll have a little bit down the road somewhere, right? We don't know. Maybe Hobbs will run out, right? Maybe because they're getting hit so hard, stuff like that. I think we might see pockets of New Mexico start to kind of bleed dry a little bit, but overall, I think maybe the staggering of the license might help us to kind of keep things on track. I'm not sure. If there's a positive for that bottleneck of license applications, that would be it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So did you see any so I was told actually that it seemed like slow, like up north in Albuquerque and Santa Fe, I guess. And I was told particularly in the Santa Fe area, that it seemed like it was slow. Like, is it slow down there with you guys? I'm like, no, it is popping down here. Did it seem kind of slow to you compared to what you kind of expected?
Yeah, I don't feel a lot of hype up here right now. Like, I don't feel as much hype up here. We had a few, we had some media come out. In fact, I work with these folks about Canvas Organics and how they haven't opened doors yet. So that, when you put out that kind of media, it stifles the public to say, oh, maybe it's not ready, right?
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like, the dispensaries that have been here, especially the grandfathers, were really putting out a lot of hype. I didn't feel like they were marketing or partying. I mean, we did have some major events here this weekend, though. We had the Essies, and then we also had that prohibition party thrown by Bloom.
Oh, yeah. How'd that go? I was wondering how that went.
I didn't get to attend either because I had my dad in town. And so unfortunately, I just heard about it, via third party, and people said things went great. And so I'm curious to know about the Essies, and we'll figure that out, I guess, probably together, maybe be able to talk about it on the next episode.
No, yeah. I heard about the Essies. I got pictures and everything else people were sending me at the Essies, you know what I mean? It looked like another great event. Always is a fun event. It just, I didn't get to go this time. Just got stuff going on like everybody else. When you're Indy 500, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, but no,
I feel like that was the only hype out here, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, the Dirty 30, really haven't had to compete too much. Maybe, since, Greenleaf got bought out or whatnot and kind of showed some stuff. Like, hey, guys, take advantage of every opportunity. Maybe, you just can't sit on your hands.
Yeah.
And you can't just complain about everybody. You got to get your ass moving. So
moving.
You got to get moving. Yeah. I said it slow where everybody understand exactly.
Like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
You got to get moving.
Yeah. So, if you're really worried about
Jenny. I know. I was going to say, I'm hanging out with Forrest and Gump.
Yeah. There it is. Yeah. So, no, it's.
I'll be your Jenny. I'll be your Jenny.
Oh, yeah. Give me the Jenny. There we go.
Okay. Now they're going to come try to sue us since we talked about it.
I know, right? It's like, you can't talk about Forrest Gump.
Maybe we'll get national news that way, though.
Maybe. Might.
Go ahead.
We'll tag it.
Come at us. Let's see what you got.
We'll tag it. So I guess we'll move on. We'll start talking about the prices then, since, you know, no one's ran out. We did see a spike in prices in some places. Actually, I talked to Duke the other day, and he said actually he didn't increase his prices. They're still at $8.99 a gram. So we did see an increase. Obviously, everybody knows that our
you mean the devil didn't increase his prices?
No, the devil didn't increase his prices.
That's crazy.
That is nuts.
What are y'all gonna do? Jesus, guys.
So, and you know, I kind of feel like everybody's concerns are going to shift here in, you know, the next year and a few months. So would you see in price increases, Shannon?
You know, you see those typical rec menus that have, you know, premium, you know, different shelves, three-tiered. You know, you can get your I call it low man grade, but it's still $12 a gram. You know what I'm saying? Your mid was like 14, and then your top or premium was like 16. Add that onto the taxes, and you know, you're getting up there all of a sudden, right? So it is better to buy, you know, don't buy 1 gram at a time. That's for damn sure. That's my advisement. It's going to become harder and harder. I just don't know how those prices played in to some of the like concentrates and all that. I don't purchase that stuff, so I don't know how concentrates or, you know, any of the oils or any of that stuff, how it affected that. I buy flour, and I saw the flour was affected. So for sure. You know, I would love to see the separate menus for patients versus rec, but you know, you see it all on one now. So it should be interesting to follow though.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like that's something that maybe we could just suggest in the future to the, you know, the business owners, and that might be something they want to look at. Because, you know, if once we start looking at the numbers, and if the patients are, you know, super minority versus the rec, then they might as well do that because they're not losing much, you know. They're making way much, you know, on the rec people versus, you know, the patients anyway. So they want to, you know, hook up the patients somehow, you know.
Some do, some don't. They didn't do it the years before. Why are they going to start now?
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, I'm being straight with it. Like the Dirty 30 is business to a lot of them, and they weren't compassionate then, and they sure heck are gonna be compassionate now. And so I ain't gonna pretend, you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, when you go to a store, you buy a gram for $8 the day before, and then you go to the store for the rec, and it's $18 a gram. You know, it is what it is. I get it's 100%, 110% business, and you know what I mean? Like the patient world. And this is a sad thing is like, you know, the patients are going to have to show up and fight for your program again. Like been fighting for years on it, but it hasn't stopped. And you think it's going to get easier with rec, you're just lying to yourself because it's got harder.
Yeah.
So, you know, definitely in the medical world, like, is it, you know what I mean? Looking at it as like as a business wise. Yeah. I see like doing a register or something, but if it doesn't make money and it costs more to have somebody there, you know what I mean? It's just going to be a loss.
Yeah.
So, the prices are, you know, we expected this, right? Like everybody knows, like, what's the point of, you know what I mean? Realistically, it's a business. So if I can sell it for $18 to somebody from Texas, I'm going to sell it to them instead of sell it to somebody in New Mexico for $8.
Yeah. You know, because we knew the Texans were going to show up.
Well, it's a recreational program. Like that's the thing is like, it's not a medical program. People can complain about it or whatnot, but that's, we went to a rec, like, you know what I mean? To honestly, like, and maybe I have less sympathy for the patient world or whatnot, because, you know, being in it and the way I look at like being compassionate, you know, and there's like, we used to grow cannabis and then give that shit away to people to beat each other, you know? And, you know, that's why we got one of the gifting things where we wouldn't have to be breaking rules to help people.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. Everybody can grow. You know what I mean? It is going to be harder for medical people, especially prices. You know, most medical patients don't have a good income as it is. So it's not going to get any better for them. And, you know, you need to go to places like, go get your clones, you know what I mean? Carver Family Farms, Organica. You know what I mean? We can start doing grow things here in the next month, having little grow seminars on here or whatnot. So you can learn to grow your outdoors. Yeah.
You can teach me in front of them how to grow.
There we go. I mean, I mean, whatever we need to do, because that's how I really feel is going to be the best way to help patients. Like you're going to have to show up to Santa Fe 1 and you're going to have to lobby for those rules, right? That's the best idea I can think, or send emails or get something there or speak very professionally about it. Or we're just going to have to go straight compassionate use and teach everybody to grow so everybody can help each other out.
Yeah. Still the only way. And you know, it's really hard to get patients to show up too. Josh and I know, you know, did it for like 8 years, and, you know, it was almost impossible to get people to show up, and you guys are going to have to show up now, you know, like it's just how it is, you know, with this being in place, you're going to have to fight for the medical program. We've just seen it in every state almost just die. So, you know, do you have anything on that, Shannon?
It is, yeah, I do. I mean, when I remember calling Dr. Zerlo over at the Department of Health when we became recreational last year, and I called and he goes, "Oh, no, 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 we're not medical and recreational." He said, "We're rec and it allows for medical. We're a rec, just like you said, we're no longer a medical state, we're a recreational state that allows for medical." So we have to understand that the bigger picture is that that's how the state's looking at it. That's how the consumer's looking at it. Now, let me tell you this too. Anybody who's ever come to Shannon Jaramillo or to my organization to tell us that they want to work in the field, normally are patients, and they're patients that want to get involved in this, but now we have a totally different group of people coming in. So imagine after the next year or two, once their first, second, and third turnover of employees happen, we might not have so many patient activists working in the industry, right? And so for that purpose, I think it's vital that we continue to talk about that, and we continue to say, we continue to hold space for patients. Otherwise, if we don't, nobody will, and it'll just get drowned out naturally. And so I do think it's important and imperative that we continue to talk about this piece and that we continue to foster it, because it is a thing. It's a thing for sure.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And that's something that we could talk about in, further episodes and everything, with the patients, because, that's something that's huge for them, because like I said, everybody's concerns are about to shift, and no one knows it yet. And they don't know what the shift is, and they don't know what it's going to be, but there is going to be a shift in concerns. We just haven't seen it yet. So let's not
even talk about Senate Bill 100 if they get that through the special session, right?
So we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. Let us get there. Yes, that was a little surprise we got for you guys. So let's keep it on. We got a couple more things to talk about, and then we're going to talk about that one right there, because that's actually really important. So one thing that came over the weekend is, we already mentioned, there was a bunch of Texans down here in the South. I don't know about up north, but down South, it was like a little Texas. And the joke has been that El Paso is now New Mexico, not El Paso, Texas, because we have legal cannabis here, and they're just so close, and there were so many. But that's the whole thing about the rec market, is it's bringing in Texans just like it was predicted. Did you see a bunch of Texan plates up there?
No, but I graduated high school in the 915. So that's how I'm from there. I graduated high school. All my old homies and friends and people that I went to high school with that are still in that area, I know that they're either involved in hemp right now or starting to get involved, and they're all coming over for jobs too.
Yeah.
So I didn't notice probably a lot of additional license plates here this weekend, but I'll keep my eyes peeled. But I do know that, back in the day, El Paso used to be more like Juarez than it was Las Cruces. And now it is becoming more New Mexico than it is Juarez because of the opportunity. So it's very interesting. But yeah, I don't doubt it because of the damn strict laws in Texas, man. You get caught with just a little bit and you're looking at a felony. It's like ridiculous. So yeah. I do fear for a lot of those people. And I wonder if that's heightened their police awareness there. And if they're all getting stopped a lot more, or, what's happening. I haven't heard anything. Have you guys heard anything?
No, with Colt, because, Colt, we had a show with Colt DeMorris, and he's real big into Texas, and he lives in the El Paso area. Yeah. We talked about it yesterday. We had a barbecue with High Horse Company, which is a cannabis company out here we work with. And, cool. Yeah, so we talked about that. Some of these people were from El Paso area, and nothing. He hasn't heard of anything like big onslaught of anybody else getting stopped or the police or nothing, because he has good connections all in the, from lawyers to people in the district there. And so nothing too crazy. There was no crazy border checks or anything else with the drug sniffing dogs or, SWAT teams with their ARs, waiting for the devil's lettuce to come over. So
that was actually a relief.
Yeah, that is a good relief. I mean, even trying to bring it through from Cruces to here through that Tier C border. I mean, it's a similar feeling, obviously. But
I always feel molested when I'm driving through America, do one of them border checks. That's how I feel about it. And I do. I'm molested in my own country. This is awesome.
Yeah. Like I didn't even do anything. I was just driving.
Yeah. And then sometimes they're always asking, "You American?" I'm like, "Are you? Where the hell? Where do you? Well, come on now. I'm pretty Lyra. I'm pretty sure I went through one when Lyra was one time." That's another buddy of mine has a real hardcore Mexican accent, so I give him hell. And if you're listening, Lyra, hope you're doing well, buddy. We'll be talking later today. I'll be calling you.
But
I'm sure the Border Patrol has beefed up, though. I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure somehow. Yeah, I haven't been up that way yet, but we'll see. What's going on.
I'll jump on anytime they're not there. I'm gonna say it's open, everybody, go, go through.
Yeah. So just keeping the show moving. I just wanted to remind everybody, watching, patients and consumers, please be patient with the bud tenders, these new dispensaries and everything. Everyone's new, the whole industry is new. This is a brand new thing for everybody. So just be patient. I just wanted to remind everybody. I've been seeing everybody, oh, this and that. I'm like, guys, there's certain things that come up that they're trying to fix on the fly. There's certain things that pop up while running a business. You're going to run into gremlins you didn't know were there. So, just try to be very patient with these people. Do you have anything for that, Shannon?
No, I think that's good advisement though, Chad. I think sometimes we take for granted that people are learning and that they, giving them a chance to do something better just takes a simple conversation. It doesn't have to get all crazy or hectic. You know what I mean? So that's good advisement. I think for everybody going through these new growing pains, it's exciting. We have more access, but things are shifting. So, just taking it one day at a time and going slow is going to be key for sure.
Well, and just be grateful it's legal. 7 days ago, it wasn't legal for you to be able to walk in there and buy it. So cry a river somewhere else. There's my 2 cents. And patience, we knew this was coming.
Yeah. If you didn't, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Patience, you knew this was coming. And you know what I mean? Work on the ideas of, growing your own and stuff. And I know there's plenty of, places up in Albuquerque and stuff to get clones, and working down here on some things to be able to, in Las Cruces. I know there's some nurseries down here too. So we'll talk about that more, about the whole growing thing.
Yeah. And one more thing I wanted to add, everybody, prices should decrease in the future later on. It might not be in a few months or a year, but prices eventually will stabilize and decrease. So just keep that in mind. Right now, yes, it sucks, but it will get better. One thing that I wanted to bring up, and Shannon actually kind of lead the conversation on this the other day, is tip culture. And then we'll actually talk about the special session. So Shannon, go ahead and lead this one, please.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think I'm not trying to be, maybe I'm desensitized, maybe I'm not. I mean, we do train people to work in dispensaries, right? And so I've been doing a lot of that. And I understand that there's a tip culture now being brought into the dispensaries, right? And so, Chad, you posted something on the NMCannaCast regarding a lady who said that her niece had earned a bunch of tips, and she was like fumbling through some dough there, some $1 bills,
a whole tray.
Yeah, she had a whole tray of them there. And I said, why would you tip on a product that is taxed at 20%? I said that I felt like that was going to target, like tipping my local Target person after I bought, organic milk or something, because to me, it's a retail transaction, right? Mm-hmm. I also feel, I still hold firm on that. I feel like it's a retail transaction, and I don't hang out enough at the retail counter to feel like I need to tip. Now, when I see a tip jar, does it prompt me to go, should I tip? And then do I judge myself for not tipping? Yeah, I'm human. Everybody does that, right? Yeah. But what I've been doing as a patient is I put my change in the patient jar because I know someone's going to come in and be short their couple grams that they need or whatever, right? Yeah. So there's ways to go about it. And there's been a culture of leaving change behind there for patients. But now it's turning into tip your bud tender for the service, right? And so I'm curious to know how people feel about that. I mean, if I'm getting something that's prepackaged that you hand to me, I'm not feeling the need to tip you. I'm not even feeling the need to tip you if you're getting the tongs and grabbing the nug out of there and taking a stem off of it for me, because that's your job, right?
Yeah, you're getting paid an hour for that already.
What's that?
You're getting paid per hour for that already.
Right. And so I'm trying to understand the tip culture, and how long do you want if you're going to be transactional, how long do you want someone standing at your register to earn that tip, right? Or is that going to hurt your sales culture eventually? So anyway, it's just a thought in my mind, but I have seen, since I made that comment, I have seen people are putting on the back end of the register, please tip your bud tender. I saw that at Urban Wellness the other day. So of course I thought back to that, and it doesn't have to do with having morals or ethics or anything like that. If you tip someone, it has to do with the experience. So I understand it. I hope people are making more money. I certainly have been advocating for a higher hourly wage. I would hate to be told I'm going to make $10 an hour plus tips in this environment. Hell no. Yeah. Right. And so what I'm saying is it's a new tip. There is a new tip culture out there. So if you go in and you're all happy and you feel like tipping them, tip them. I mean, shit, go for it. Right. I feel like if I'm going to consume there and the lady rolls it up, puts it in my mouth and lights it for me, I'm going to tip her, but I haven't had that experience yet.
Talk, you know what I'm saying? Bougie stuff. Like bougie. don't even here. Oh, Light it for me.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. That's when Shannon Jaramillo tips, okay?
At least I know how to get a tip out of Shannon.
right, exactly.
Roll her
Right?
joint, let her light it, put her, yeah, go.
And you have to
Get
put a
good old
tip, a filter on that. I
Yeah.
want a raw tip on that. I don't
Glass
just...
one. All pretty crystal. Don't get me
No,
started. I'll bring
But
it.
at the same time, I'm an advocate for these employees. And so I'm not trying to come across as, oh, don't tip your bud tender. Hell no, tip your bud tender. That's fine. But also consider that there's a patient jar. You could leave that for somebody else. And also consider that you don't absolutely have to, right? And so that's all I'm saying. I understand it, and it's new, and it seems to be the vibe because guess what? We're selling weed like alcohol now.
Well,
So that makes sense, right? Tip your bartender, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, and they're called a bud tender.
Well, and it's just exciting, right? You know, it's easier to spend money when you're excited about something. You know what I mean? To give a little extra away because you're like, oh, this was so great.
yeah.
Oh, here's $2. This was fun.
I guess if you have 50 bones burning a hole in your pocket and your thing comes out to $42 and you want to give them the $8 and you just want to walk out there without anything, go for it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's all up to you. I mean, no one's saying that you can't do this or stopping you, preventing you from doing anything. I mean, these are just opinions of us or whatever we feel. If you want to tip, tip. If someone doesn't want to tip, don't harass them for it.
Nobody's going to give a bud tender a $10,000 tip. You won't do it.
I won't see that on Reddit. I will not.
Yeah,
never.
You
Not
won't
once.
make national news with that one.
No.
Nah.
So do you have anything else to say on that one,
And
Shannon?
the bud tender that gets that $10,000 tip, just give me 10%.
Right. Well, no, not necessarily. I'm just trying to figure out, I'm hopeful that, you know, that I guess it's informing the public as to what the service entails too. So in a way, they're training their market to come in to buy something and to tip their bud tender. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so I
exactly.
see them all kind of doing it differently, and it's a per company deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we'll just have to see how it goes. But I do know that I saw in some of the data that all of that hype too tends to fade as well as people get more used to going in and purchasing with 20% tax on there. You know what I mean?
I see it being more common in the consumption lounges, you know, like you said, you know, something like in that environment. Consumption lounges, totally all day. That makes sense. But you know, in that kind of environment, you know, so. But yeah, let's get on to the last topic of the show. It's the special session that was announced a few weeks back. It's actually happening here probably, you know, tomorrow at the time of recording. Yeah. So Shannon, go ahead. I mean, what do you think is going to happen with the special session?
I called the legislature this morning to see if there was a schedule or, you know, what are we going to be discussing? Just get some more details for us. And I was told that they don't even have a schedule out today. So bright and early tomorrow, April 5th, I was told it starts April 5th and that the schedule will be out tomorrow. So you'll better believe bright and early tomorrow, I'll be looking into that and I'll funnel some of that information over and we'll post it on our Facebook and on our social media and stuff like that to keep people informed. And then on our next episode next week, we should already be a week into it so we can talk more about how things are going. But the rumors that I heard were, I mean, you could see in Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham's press release, they say, you know, we're going to be talking about economic relief for New Mexico, gas prices, stuff like that. I had heard from a little bird that's pretty close up in that treehouse that they will be putting cannabis on the docket. So I feel pretty good that that's what's going to happen. So I'm just encouraging everybody to look over Senate Bill 100 to see how it affects your businesses. I know I've got to do that to see how it affects mine. And so put your eyes on that prize, because if we do discuss something, that's what would be discussed.
Oh yeah, definitely. And, you know, keep an eye out for something cannabis, guys. You know, there's a few things that needs to be changed in the industry. And, you know, this is a perfect opportunity to change that. Like, you know, the micros, if you guys really, really, really want those 1,000 or maybe even 2,000 plants, you're going to have to work for it and you're going to have to advocate for it. You know, no one else is really going to do it for you. So you're going to have to go over there and let them know what you want. So, yeah.
And anything exciting, you know what I mean? If it's huge in the cannabis industry and on the docket or whatever they have tomorrow, you'll probably hear from us sooner.
Yeah. You know, we try to do emergency shows. Shannon, if you want to join us, if you have time, you know, please. But if something breaking happens, we try to, you know, do an emergency show wherever we are, you know, and so, just take a look out, keep a lookout for that. We'll just post it and you guys will know. So keep your notifications on.
And just for people watching, if you want to know where to go to find it, go to nmlegis.gov. And that's our legislature website. And you can find information. You should be able to, if they're doing any live videos, you should be able to stream from there, all that good stuff. But that's where we're finding it. We don't have any secret portal. You guys, it's for everybody. And you guys grab the secret portal with us. And maybe one of you guys will figure it out before we do, because that's just the nature of the beast. But let's all stay on it, because it's going to be a meaningful month, not just legalization, not just 420, but special sesh. And let's see how that goes, you know?
Yeah. And then that could be industry changing.
Right. And we're crafting the first industry. So a lot of it will change, you know what I mean? You know, special rules, you know what I mean? Emergency rules, stuff like that will shoot out. So no, there'll be a lot of information going on, and everything else. And even between us three, there's a lot of things going on in our industry and our businesses. So those will be, you know what I mean? It'll be good stuff.
Cool. All right. Well, that's everything everybody has. That's the show. Shannon?
No, I'm good. I thought we did a good job. And I think we tackled so many topics. I'm even spun out from this one. So if anybody has any questions about any of the stuff we threw down, hit us up, and please do share our podcast with everybody you know, so that we can help people to stay informed. That's what we're about, is we're about helping people to stay informed, helping to provide a space to talk about this stuff, and, you know, definitely want to be inclusive. So share this podcast and give us a few likes on YouTube and all the main channels. That would be helpful.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, Shannon, take us out.
All right. You guys have a good one. This is episode 15, The Aftermath. I enjoyed it. We'll talk to you guys soon. Take it easy.
All right.